Welcome to the video presentation of MOBILEcharge. The login screen will take you directly to the web application. In the dashboard, you'll find all important information at a glance. Below, I will go through the diagrams and explain their meaning. First of all, we have the energy consumption at the top left. Here you can see how much energy was consumed today and in the last few days. The system also collects historical data to create forecasts and predict how much energy will be consumed in the next few days. The green dots indicate the load peaks, meaning the highest value of energy demand that was reached on the respective days. We continue with the charging process. In the central diagram, you can see how many charging processes are planned for the day and how many have already taken place. You get a real-time overview of how many vehicles are currently charging, how many were charging on time, and how many were charging with a delay. On the right side, you can see how high the weekly energy consumption is. The daily power peak and the daily energy consumption in kilowatt hours are also displayed here. A new function is also shown here, the real-time power meter. This function shows how much energy is currently being used to charge your electric buses. You can also set a limit here that should not be exceeded, so you can always have control over your energy and cost budget. Furthermore, you can see a diagram at the bottom left that demonstrates the status of the current charging infrastructure in real time. Here you can see how many charging stations are currently available, unavailable, or occupied. The active charges are also displayed here once again. You can also see whether one of the charging stations is showing an error. If this is the case, you will be informed by a pop-up message and can set additional alerts via text message or email. And lastly, you can see an overview of critical charging processes. The table includes a list of vehicles that have arrived late at the depot for loading and the vehicles that are at risk for not reaching the next round. This gives a dispatcher an overview of all critical loading processes. If you have several depots, you can also filter the dashboard by individual depots at the top left. The charging plan shows current and planned charging processes, including preconditioning, and schedule in block format. For a given charge point ID, specific vehicles will block a specific time range. These charging time slots are created by an existing interface to a pre-system, such as a depot management system. The system receives relevant data, such as arrival and departure times of the buses in the depot from this pre-system and creates the charging time slots accordingly. If there is no upstream system from which the data can be automatically synchronized, this data can also be imported manually. The system uses these time windows to calculate the capacity with which the buses are loaded. In the charging plan area, you can view past, current, and future charging processes at any time. MOBILEcharge provides technical details such as the current state of charge, the target state of charge, the time required for preconditioning, an estimate of whether the charging processes will be successful, and the planned disengagement time of the vehicles. Let's continue with the charging station monitor. You receive a list overview of all charging stations and can filter them according to their individual status. You'll receive further information here. For example, you could filter according to the active charging processes. For the charging stations that are currently in use, you could see additional information such as the power that the bus is currently receiving in order to be charged. The cable temperature is also displayed in this column. In addition, you could carry out commands such as manually restarting or unlocking charging stations. You could also see which vehicle is currently connected to the charging station. If there are several charging points in a charging station, these are displayed individually. Charging points can be renamed individually according to your preferences. The charging station monitor can be displayed in different ways depending on your preferences, either in the list view here, for example, in the tile view. The multi-operator support is a new feature in the charging station monitor. This function allows you to filter by depots, operators, or cities. You can focus overviews on individual operators or give them their own access, in which they can only view their own charging infrastructure. This allows you to make individual customizations and determine who could see which data. We continue with the vehicle monitor. Here you have a similar overview, but in relation to your electric bus fleet. This means that you could see the vehicles that have been registered in the system in advance, and you can name them individually, in this case according to the license plates of the individual buses. You could filter these according to their current status, for example, whether they're connected or on the road. You could also check further information such as the current state of charge of the buses, planned preconditioning, or possible charging time window. Here, you can execute the same commands as in the charging station monitor. The substation monitor provides a real-time overview of the amount of currently available energy. You receive this via an interface to the existing energy supply, for example, via a substation. The system can use this information intelligently to charge the buses. Now you can see the transaction history. This function gives you an overview of individual charging processes and shows which vehicle has charged at which charging station at what time. Accordingly, you can also see how much energy was used for the individual charging process. If information on energy prices are available, you can also see how much the individual charging process cost. At this point, you could find a report function. Here you have the option of creating reports such as energy consumption reports. You could select the operator and respective depot on the right. You can also select any time period to see how much energy was consumed in a day, a week, or even a month. You can then create a CSV file export from this, for example, for internal analysis. Lastly, you can see the notification center where you can manually set alarms and notifications. You can also categorize information such as error messages. You can also determine how you want to receive the error messages, for example, as shown here as a warning, and who should receive the error message. These are the most important functionalities of MOBILEcharge in a quick overview. For further insight and information, we look forward to your questions. Thank you.